This is Bloodletting. Welcome back to another edition of Bloodletting. Today, I wanted to start off with some bad news regarding a couple of ongoing issues with my channel. Yesterday, I received a takedown notice and a copyright strike against my channel for one of the fan films I played during one of my live streams. Now, in an attempt to get the strike retracted, I contacted Trent Duncan, whose channel issued the strike. We exchanged a few emails, and he told me that he has no control over the strike and that the issue was resolved from what he saw on his end. So eventually we both agreed that I should issue a counter notice to see if that would allow him to retract the strike. However, after 3 attempts, all had been rejected by YouTube, with a 4th still pending at this time. If this last attempt fails, that means my live streams from Sunday to Wednesday will be limited while on other platforms like Twitch and Mixer. However, I still will continue to upload videos. I just won't be able to live stream to YouTube until October 22nd. And that's pretty much it for now. I'm still waiting to see what the outcome of this last counter notice is going to be. Worst case scenario, I won't be able to live stream until then, at least on YouTube. But if you guys do want to catch me live streaming at all, comment below. Let me know if you guys are going to follow me to any of the other platforms, or if you're willing to wait. As I've said many a times, do not worry. I still will be doing the commentaries that I promised. Those will still be coming. They'll just be now recorded. Possibly live stream on other platforms, but the videos will be uploaded to YouTube as well once they are done. In other news, let's talk Halloween. Now, I wanted to sit on the news about the 2 sequels coming in 2020 and 2021 just to see if anything may have broke during that time period. And while it's not a full-on confirmation that Halloween Ends will be the last Halloween film, we are teased that Blumhouse or possibly another studio may pick up where the 3rd installment of the 2018 film leaves off. So this is an article from movieweb.com. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it can be a bit lengthy. I will leave the link in the description below, but I'm going to check off a couple of the statements from Danny McBride. We start in September and shoot them back to back with a breather between, but they'll be out in 2 consecutive years, in 2020 and 2021. You get a breather this year, and then for the next 2 years, it's going to be crazy. We had ambitions of doing 2 with some big ideas, and then decided that we should see if anybody liked one at a time. And if they liked the other one, then maybe we'd build on it. And then when Halloween was successful, our additional ideas that weren't integrated into the first one developed into 2. We've written them and we're ready to go. It's just a continuation of it. It's telling the story moving forward. It's not another reinvention or anything like that. It's this world that we've established, and then it continues beyond the events of the first one. And as for whether or not this will be the last film with Michael Myers, Danny McBride had this to say. I think ultimately Michael Myers is such an iconic character that no one besides Carpenter is ever going to own ownership over him. This will be our chance at the table to play with these characters, and I'm sure that when we're done, other people will come in and do the same thing, or have their own reinvention. Michael Myers is iconic enough to allow that too. He's like James Bond, where you can have different actors and different filmmakers. He represents something so simple and scary that could be translated by lots of different people. We have also gotten confirmation that Laurie and Michael's story will conclude at the end of Halloween Ends. They're never done telling the Frankenstein story, and at this point Michael Myers is a classic movie monster. But our Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode Michael Myers saga will be done. The fun of it is also seeing it end and knowing that it can. If you just keep trying to elongate it and milk it for all the money, then it's boring. Which I completely agree. So if they were to continue the series after Halloween Ends, what direction do you think they will go? And will Michael Myers still be a part of it? Comment below with your thoughts and where you would like to see the series go from here. On to the next topic of the 2017 Stephen King's It film. It's one of the latest horror properties to be entangled within a lawsuit, with the makers of the miniseries from the 1990 version are now arguing that they hold a stake in the new version. An article on Bloody Disgusting says this: how movie legal battles have gotten very interesting and very depressing in recent years, with the Friday the 13th mess representing the worst of the worst for hardcore fans like ourselves. But now the 2017 version of It has been dragged into its own legal battle, and with previous adaptations producers arguing they're entitled to some stake in the film's success. THR breaks the whole thing down, but the gist is that Frank Konigsberg and Larry Sinitsky, executive producers of the 1990 adaptation of Stephen King's novel, filed a lawsuit this week in Los Angeles Superior Court, alleging that they had a contractual right to be involved in any sequel, series, remake, or spin-off of the miniseries, which they claim the new movies are. Of course, the Andy Muschietti directed films are actually new adaptations of King's novel, rather than remakes of the 1990 adaptation. Right? Well, I suppose it depends on who you ask. And if you ask Konigsberg and Sinitsky, the two new movies from Warner Brothers and New Line represent a failure to honor those aforementioned contractual obligations. That the 2017 feature film is indeed a remake is indisputable, they say. THR reports, the plaintiffs say they shepherded development of the 1990 miniseries, but that despite its success, a profit participation statement in 1995 showed the miniseries was in deficit with no profits to distribute. The two say they then waited 25 years for another profit statement, when finally, this past March, they got one, showing they were entitled to $1 million in profit. The lawsuit questions whether that's really everything, and Konigsberg and Sinitsky include claims of fraud over the accounting. Essentially, the duo fighting for a stake in the profits made from the 2017's It and this year, It 2, they claim they're entitled to a minimum share of 10% of the net profits. Whether Warner Brothers is even responsible for honoring these previous obligations to Konigsberg and Sinitsky is up in the air, and it's similarly up for debate whether or not the new movies can even be considered as part of the sequel series, remake, or spin-off clause of that decades-old contract. That's all up for the courts to decide, and indeed, they'll soon have to. And with that being said, what do you guys think? Comment below with your thoughts on this whole mess surrounding It. And finally, last week was discovered that 3 from Hell will only have a 3-night event when it releases to a limited number of theaters, with tickets sure to sell out as each theater opens pre-orders. Be sure to be on the lookout at a theater near you if you intend on seeing the next installment of the Firefly family's Reign of Terror. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this horror news format, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as hitting the notification bell to be alerted whenever a new video is uploaded. And as always, I am JG Dark, and thanks for watching.